the University of Texas at El Paso College of Engineering, in collaboration with Halliburton, presents Other Forms of Sustainable Energy. Due to the drawbacks of fossil fuels and the continuous increase in energy demand around the world, there has been a continuous development of alternative energy sources to obtain electricity and other forms of useful energy from renewable resources. In our previous video, we talked about the technologies developed to utilize the sun's radiation as a source of energy. Apart from the sun, there are other forms of sustainable energy that can generate green, clean power without depleting limited energy sources such as coal. These sustainable alternatives are wind energy, geothermal energy, and biomass, and we will talk about them in a little bit more detail in this video. Wind energy, as its name implies, utilizes the kinetic energy of the wind to produce useful energy such as electricity. Wind power is also utilized to propel ships, obtain useful mechanical energy through windmills, and pump water through wind pumps. However, for the purpose of this video, we will focus on electricity production through wind turbines. As mentioned before, wind carries kinetic energy that can be used to produce electricity. This can be achieved through the utilization of wind turbines. The way that it works is that the incoming wind turns the blades of the wind turbine, which at the same time moves a shaft. This shaft is connected to a gear train to attain higher speeds. This gear train moves a generator which produces electricity. Wind turbines can be divided into two big categories: those that have the rotor in the horizontal axis, and those that are assembled with the rotor in the vertical axis. The turbines with the horizontal axis are commonly pointed towards the wind, while the ones with the vertical axis don't need this type of positioning. Wind energy became the #1 source of new U.S. electricity generation capacity in 2012. This accounted for an investment of $25 billion, representing 43% of new electric additions. Due to the investments and additions, the wind electricity production rose, surpassing 60 gigawatts by the end of 2012. This is enough energy to power 15 million homes each year. Geothermal energy is another alternative to fossil fuels that is currently being explored and developed. Geothermal energy comes from the core of the Earth. This is due to the radioactive decay of the minerals, which rises its temperature. Due to this phenomenon, there is a temperature gradient from the core to the surface of the Earth. A tangible way of explaining this is the existence of hot springs and geysers. In an industrial sense, geothermal energy can be used to heat up water or extract heat for electricity generation and heating/cooling applications. The former is achieved by injecting water through channels below the surface of the Earth. Here, heat will be transferred from the surroundings to the water, rising its temperature and converting it to steam, allowing us to produce usable energy. The latter is done by utilizing a heat pump to obtain or release heat to the ground. 70 countries around the world are taking advantage of geothermal heating and have used a total of 270 petajoules in 2004. Additionally, by 2007, 0.07% of global primary energy consumption is being satisfied due to the installation of 28 gigawatts of geothermal capacity. Finally, biomass can also be used as an alternative for non-renewable resources for energy production. Biomass comes from the living or the remains of mostly plants. A very familiar source of biomass is wood. Biomass can be utilized in both direct and indirect forms. In its direct form, biomass can be utilized to produce heat through combustion. On the other hand, indirect use refers to the production of biofuels such as ethanol and biodiesel, which are achieved through different chemical, thermal, and biochemical methods. In a short-term application, biomass can be used mixed with coal in a power plant to produce electricity. This process is called co-firing. One of the main industrial applications of biomass is the integrated gasification combined cycle. In this type of application, coal is combined with biomass or other coal-derived fuels to produce a synthesis gas in a gasifier. In this schematic, it is labeled as number 1. After this, impurities are removed to reduce emissions. After the syngas is generated, it is used to drive a gas turbine and produce electricity, which is labeled as number 3, and then the waste heat is used to produce steam and drive a steam turbine to generate additional electricity, labeled as number 5 in this diagram. Purification of the syngas results in lower emissions of sulfur dioxide, particulates, and mercury, allowing for cleaner electricity production. However, IGCC remains a high-cost solution for electricity production. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up.